There we go. So we're on. Okay, so anyway, introductions have been made. You're here for treasurers, past District Governor Mario, that's me. Past Council Chair Emil is over there. And I believe we're going to be having Lion Phillip perhaps will be coming in. So we're here. We're going to give thanks to District Governor Cindy Zeng for asking us to put this on. We're going to continue to do. There's going to be a whole lot more training going on, so we're going to have some good programs. Anyway, the course objective. Are you? I assume you're treasurers. Yes, you are treasurers. Okay. Yep. Okay. So we're going to understand your duties as treasurers, and one of the most important things to know about Lions is that we want to keep the admin, the club funds separate from the charity, and so it's important to keep those things separate. And we're going to learn how to budget, create a report, and proper record keeping. Okay. Okay, so now that you're club treasurer, what do? Okay, before we get into that, I just want to make sure that you understand, just out of curiosity, Michelle and Teresa, how long have you been Lions? Couple of years now. Okay, so anyway, you understand that Lions is a worldwide organization, okay? So, we have them in China, we have them in every country in the world, 214, but we also have a state organization and our local district. Those are our district officers, Cindy, Jimmy, and Mariah. Those are our governors, okay? So we report to them. Again, all over the world. You see here, very few that do not have Lions Clubs. So we are all over the world, and so that is important to remember. Our officers also are from all over the world. We got India, we got the US, Kenya, Australia, Brazil. And of course, this is our local state organization. We are divided into 14 districts. This is our little district right there, C4. That is our area. They are divided up pretty much by population. So some of them are very large, but they have few people, rural areas. It is important to remember, I'm going to go back for just 1 second, it is important to remember that we do have 3 levels of organization, and it's important to know that because we pay dues to all 3 levels. Okay, so your responsibilities are to attend the meetings. Lion Phillip just joined us. He is actually our cabinet treasurer, so he's going to jump in whenever he feels the need. If you feel like you need to add something, Phillip.
My mentor is like that.
Emil is going to be doing the same thing. Okay, so again,
he taught me.
you want to attend your club and board meetings, and that is important because you need to know what's going on and what needs to be paid. If the board decides that they're going to be paying something, you need to be aware of that. Budgets, collecting dues, making payments on behalf of the club. So you're going to have the checkbooks, and keeping the financial records, and of course, filing taxes, which is something that Emil is going to be speaking to about very shortly. Okay, so the preparation of the budget is important because you have money in the bank, but it's important to plan ahead of time. And so this is something that really falls on yourself and on the club president to get together with the finance committee and decide how much money you're going to take in through fundraisers and how you're going to spend that money. So it's good to know, in advance, before the year starts, how that's going to happen. And each club should have 2 budgets. As again, we mentioned, you have the administrative, which is the club, and you have the activities, which is your projects. So if you have dinner, if you have things that are related to the club, that stays under the administrative or the club. And then the other one is for the activities or your charities account. And again, we don't keep a checkbook. Well, maybe we do. I'm not the club treasurer right now, but you have 2 checkbooks. One for we call it dues and convention, and the other one is the general, which we would now call the foundation. But you are responsible for maintaining 2 separate accounts, and they should not be mixed. Then the question comes up, do you have 1 or 2 treasurers? That is a question for your club to decide. So it is possible that you could possibly have 2 treasurers. My club, we have 1 treasurer. I believe most clubs do. How about your club?
Yeah.
1 treasurer, okay. But you keep the 2 books.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we don't have an actual foundation. We just have charitable.
Yeah, right. That's fine. Okay, so the administrative account, and that is used for the running of the club. If you go out to dinner, if you're paying your dues to International, MD4, and District 4C4, all the money's coming from there. So again, incoming from dues, tail twisting. You guys tail twist, August?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do fines. Does your club do fines? Do you do fines?
We do, but not very often.
Not very often.
But
You
not
guys
strictly,
fine?
Not
Not
very
enough.
strictly.
Not enough. Okay, so a lot of clubs, they try and keep it light. You raise a little bit of money by doing fines, late coming members. Okay, and then expenses, international dues, printing, postage, all other things that are due to the club. That's what your administrative or club account is for. You can call it your club account, give it any, we call it the dues and convention account. Then you have your charity account. If you're a foundation, you could do it out of this, used to fulfill the exempt purposes of the club and goals of the club. Income from public fundraising, if you have a crab feed, if you have a golf tournament, if you do bingo, anything that comes money from the public goes into this charity account, and you do not mix them. Expenses for direct costs of fundraising, everything that's net from your fundraisers goes into this account. When you go to pay for your projects, vision screening, whatever it is that you do, it can come out of this one. Under no circumstances may the income raised from monies through the public funds go into the administrative funds. Money from here does not go here. Money from here can go here, but not the opposite way. So it's best not to mix those. And this is a sample of, let me see if I can go in. So again, this is a sample of a administrative budget. You decide, you know how many members you have, you know how much you charge for each member. So you put it in here and you say, and you fill in these boxes and you say, this is how much we're taking in from dues. This is how much we're gonna raise from dinners. My club, we have some games that we play that raises money for the clubs. We have stock market game, we have Calcuttas, we have different things that go towards raising money for the club. Let's see if I get this back. Oh, maybe it needs to go like that. There we go. So anyway, that's a sample of the budget. And then of course, the expenses is gonna be your dues, dinners, anything else. You're gonna have to pay, there may be some tax things that need to be paid or tax preparation. So again, this is a sample of the San Bruno Lions Club as of 2020, and I think we pretty much have the same sort of budget. And again, if you're doing awards and certificates, a bell gavel, uniforms, that all comes out of this budget. Same thing, this is a foundation, and again, see if I can zoom in a little bit. Again, you list your for the foundation or for your charity account, you list your fundraisers, you plan on how much you're gonna take in from those fundraisers, and then of course, you've gotta decide how you're gonna spend it. And hopefully at the end, it'll be zero, or maybe a little bit left over for future fundraisers or future monies. But again, you can see we have our fundraisers here, concerts in the park, fireworks, golf tournament, bingo, crab, whatever. And then money going out that goes under the foundation. Again, accounting and tax preparation, bank charges, we have something there for secretaries. And then all our sponsorships. So we sponsor the California Lions Foundation, LCIF, the Lions Eye Foundation. These are all things that get paid through the charity account. So we have the question, does it get paid out of administrative or charity? So for instance, if you have a dinner at a meeting for members, that is not public. So that is being paid out of your administrative account. Perfect. On the other hand, if you have a dinner at a meeting, San Bruno Lions, we have a dinner meeting and we have student speaker contest, we have the parents, sometimes we have the teachers, there are judges. That is a project that we're doing. What we do there is we separate out the expense for the guests who are there as part of the project. If there are members there, so on that meeting, we'll write 2 separate checks, one from the club account and one from the charity account. So it's important to think, is it for the public or is it for the club? If it's for the club, it comes out of your administrative account. Dues to Lions Eye Foundation, Canine Companions, LCIF, or California Lions Foundation. And again, that is something that we're doing for the public. Although it says dues, it should not come out of your dues account, it should come out of your charity account. Let's see, sending the president, secretary, and our club, we do that. I don't know if you guys do that. Do you pay for okay. We rarely do it, but again, it is in our budget to send the president and secretary to the cabinet meeting or council. That we do out of the administrative account. And computer for treasure. What do you think here, Emil? If you're buying a computer for the treasure, what do you think that should come out of?
Edmund.
I can make a case both ways.
I can too.
I can make a case both ways because you're using that computer for keeping track of public, but you're also using it for the club.
I would take it out of the foundation.
Take it out of the foundation.
Charity account.
Yeah, it's been a while since we bought a computer for the club, but I mean, I can make a case both ways for that. You would do it out of the foundation or the charity account.
It all depends on what's gonna use it more for, the club or the foundation.
Yeah,
Maybe for the safety, we do it 50-50.
That's one way to
And then
do it.
nobody
Yeah.
can argue with us, yes.
Okay, so responsibility of the club treasurer for the admin for the club is the treasurer is going to collect club member dues. Okay, the board decides the level of dues for every club, and we will go over how much is being paid to each one. The board sets the annual amount. The treasurer or secretary sends out the invoices. In our club, it is the treasurer that does that. And so again, dues should be collected in advance, annually or semi-annually. You're gonna be getting the bills from 2 different places. This is just an invoice that we send out, San Bruno Lions Club, and again, we send it out to all the members. It can be done by mail or electronically. You can pay by check. We have a PO box that we send it to, or you can do it by Venmo. Other ways, Zelle, I guess, is another way of doing it. Just depends on how your treasurer wants to do it. We believe, San Bruno believes, that having a PO box is a good idea because officers change, people move out of the area. It's good to have a club account. Of course, that costs money. Do you guys have a PO box?
We have a PO box, yes.
You? No? Okay, yeah, okay, yeah, you guys, some clubs do, some clubs don't. But it's good to have a permanent place for mail. Each month, in which transactions occur.
May I make a suggestion for
Yeah.
that? Okay, I'm thinking about,
Going back?
the mail is good, and then we also, in the email, we should suggest the club to have an email for treasure, for any different function, they will continually serve the active, so that way they will have able to see what is.
Everything going back.
Yeah,
Yeah, even when they change officers.
yeah.
So having a permanent email address, say, the San Bruno secretary
Yeah.
at whatever.
Say for
and
example,
then you
like
just
my
pass-
club site, SMMLC treasure at gmail.com, for example. So that way they will transfer from term to term.
That's a
And
good
then-
idea.
And all function too. So that way they can learn from what's
Right,
done.
they can see what
And
was
then-
done in the
yeah.
past. Oh, very good idea.
They can change. They can change the password if they need to. Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna be getting bills from 2 different places. Lions Clubs International and from MD4, 4C4 together. 4C4 being our district, MD4 being the state, and those are charged together. So, international dues, entrance fees. So if you buy supplies from LCI, that will show up on the bill as well. As the treasurer, I do believe, I know the secretary and president have access to buy
Just-
at the LCI store. Treasurer also?
Yes,
Okay, so anyway, 3 people have access to buy club supplies at the LCI store. Okay, so anyway, the way is, it used to be My Lion, now it's called Lions Portal. We found that out just the other day. And you know, you should have a password for this. This is my email address and my password that's in there. And actually, if you've never been in the Lions Portal, please sign in right over there. Yeah, please sign in. If you've never been in the Lions Portal, I mean, this is, it's got all kinds of information, but as club secretary, this would be where you are going, to my club. Feel free to go in and look around anywhere. You can't mess anything up, but go in and check the portal. But you would start at my club as secretary, as treasurer. And then in the middle here, there's a place that says statements. And that is where you would look for your statement if you're ever looking for it. It's got other information. You can see we have 41 in our club right now. And then if you want to see your current statement, it's going to be right here. They have past statements on the bottom here. If I was able to scroll up, you'd be able to see that. And so this is where you find your current statement, current balance as of November 14th. San Bruno Lions, we are up to date. We've paid all our bills, but if you have money owing, this is where you're going to see it. And if you want to see what your current statement is, or find out if you have a balance here, you can go back and check the balances from before. And again, Bob Marshall is our current treasurer. It's going to have his name on it. And again, we don't know anything, so okay, so again, the reason that I went over to the latecomers, thank you for being here. I explained previously that, how long have you been members of the club?
About more than a year.
About a year, okay, but so you understand that we're a 3-level organization. We have the international organization, which is LCI. We have a state organization, which is Multiple District 4, more commonly referred to as MD4. And then we have our district, which is just our local little patch of land from the Golden Gate Bridge down to Palo Alto. That's our district.
Oh,
Okay, so our district, the state, and LCI, which is the worldwide organization, okay? And you have to pay LCI dues. LCI dues come separate from MD4 and 4C4. So 2 different bills twice a year, okay? And they're both billed twice annually. You'll get reminders more frequently than that, but the basic bills are due twice a year. LCI charges $50 a year per member, unless you have life members. You got any life members?
Yeah.
You got life members?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, life members, they've prepaid. Okay, MD4, I thought it was up to 30, but I checked with Denise and she says it's $18 per member per year or $9 per member every half year. And then District 4C4, our little patch of ground, is $14.40 per member per year. If you add that up, $82.40 per member per year. Your dues should be at least that much, if not more, depending on what you want to do with your dues. So MD4 and 4C4 are billed together and it arrives by email. I'm not sure about regular US mail anymore. I think she just sends it out by email. And this is what your LCI dues will look like. Let me see if I can. Oh, what did I do? I went back.
Escape.
There we go. I wanted to. Well, never mind. I wanted to explain here that you'll see this is when you receive your dues statement. This is what it's going to look like. You're $516 for I don't know how many. Oh, this is Daly City Host. It's going to show up over here, and if you've purchased any supplies, it's going to show up over here. And again, the amount owed is here. And generally, you can make the payments electronically, or you can send in a check. That's what an LCI bill looks like.
Mario,
Yes, sir.
back one, please.
This one.
It's important when you look at the billing from international that you double check with the names of your members, these. If you have someone who's quit, transferred, moved on, passed away, whatever, and they're no longer a member, if you don't tell international, you're gonna be billed for them anyway. So it's important to double check this against your membership roster. to make sure those members are still members in your club. Because once they're billed,
That's
you
it.
can't go back and remove them. So make sure in December, definitely in December, definitely in
June.
June,
Yeah.
that you double check your membership to make sure everyone on your membership list is included, and those who are no longer a member aren't on your list. That way you don't have to pay $25, what is it?
Yeah, it's $25 every half year.
40-some dollars for basically a member that's not in your club anymore.
And
Does
actually,
that make sense?
yeah, and he makes a good point, because it's actually a good idea to start having these discussions a couple of months ahead of time, so you can just, not that we want you dropping members, we don't want you to drop members, try and keep them in the club, but if someone's definitely not gonna be coming back, the board needs to decide to drop them in advance, so you know to report to LCI that they're no longer a member.
It depends on when your billing is. Some clubs bill their members from July 1st through June 30th, or for half a year or whatever. So normally they have 6 months to pay their dues already. So if they haven't paid their dues in 6 months, they're probably not really that interested in being a member. You should have contacted them already for their past due dues. International, for treasurer responsibility, says the secretary is responsible for dues. However, the treasurer is the one who keeps track of the book of payments. So they know who's paid and who hasn't paid. So when you do your treasurer's report at each month, you would put who's paid the dues, so that the secretary would actually know if they're doing the billing to the members.
So
Does that make sense?
how to report the active member to LCI?
The secretary generally does that.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's on the secondary side, and then just remove the member, so the system will be automatic, send it to LCI. Or you
Yeah,
need
right.
to send an
It's-
email.
It's automatically done.
It's automatic, right?
So your treasurer, as soon as you get a new member, they fill it out on the portal, and they put the address and all the information on the website through my portal. And then it automatically shows up on your billing each year.
Oh, okay.
So if you go into the portal, you can look up and see the members of your club. So it'll give a list of all the members of your club. You can look at that list and see if they're all current, or if some of them haven't been around for a couple of years and haven't paid their dues, you probably wanna drop them, or you're gonna be billed for them anyway.
No, if you
Does that
don't
make
drop
sense?
them, they will bill you.
Yeah,
So as long as you update the portal for the membership,
it should be on.
then it should be like automatic, to effect the billing.
It should be.
It should be.
Yeah. Just
But
make
we
sure.
ended up paying for one of our members for a year and a half after they died.
Yeah, if you don't report it, it
Probably
could.
not a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't think they're coming back.
Yeah.
This is what the dues statement from MD4 and 4C4 looks like, and again, you should be receiving this via email. So again, I have to emphasize that you will receive two separate bills. The one we showed you before, LCI, Lions Clubs International, and this one for our local organization, MD4, 4C4, and again, you'll see the breakdown here. And both those bills have to be paid twice a year. Pretty wordy here, I won't read it, but basically it just says what I just said. It's gonna include supplies ordered from LCI, it's gonna be dues, including back dues. Talks about, paying on time. Okay, got that? Everyone got a picture? Okay. Clubs that are past due can be suspended or canceled for non-payment, so you have to make those payments. Okay, important financial policies. The board of directors decides what you're allowed to pay. That is not up to you to decide which checks can or cannot be written. The board of directors tells you that. All financial records should be checked periodically. Here it suggests annually. Treasurer pays money out only on the authority of the board. I personally got into a little bit of trouble the first time I was a secretary. Someone came up to me and said, oh, I need to get reimbursed for this. I just wrote out a check, and it was a hefty check. It was like $2,000. And I said, well, that sounds right. I wrote the check, and then it came up, well, we never approved it. But anyway, it wasn't that he was being dishonest or anything, but I should have checked with the board first. And then most importantly, the club doesn't create any indebtedness, doesn't pay anything beyond the income of the club. If you don't have the money, you can't pay it out. Okay, so again, that goes back to setting the budget.
That also includes the club president. The club president can't tell you to take and issue a check or pay someone without the approval of the board of directors. That's why it's very important that you attend the board meeting, so you know what's been authorized or what hasn't been authorized.
The authority comes from the board of directors, not the president, not from you. The board of directors decides.
Yeah.
Okay, talks about an important safety feature to consider having 2 signers for each check. Again, that's not a bank requirement, but it's just a good idea. Some clubs do that. Do you guys do that?
Yeah.
I know you guys do that. Lion Phil, do you guys require 2 signers?
We used to, but we no longer.
Yeah, us too.
It's like because the district. We don't specify, but the signer have to announce this. So they have a small group. So they have to be authorized.
Right.
So basically they're authorized, but not physically sign the check.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna have projects, you're gonna have fundraisers, people are gonna be asking you for reimbursement. I bought, right here. For this here, I bought the fruit out front, I bought the donuts, and Lion Phil there, he's the cabinet treasurer, he's gonna reimburse me. And so, do not reimburse, show me the receipt.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. You gotta have the receipt because the treasurer has to justify the check that he's written. Show me the receipt. I got my name on here. It says COT, that means Club Officer Training. Same thing here. Make sure that they give you a receipt if they're gonna be reimbursing you, whether it's a project or a fundraiser. I always ask them to show me the receipt. If it's for a project, generally you wanna get approval from the project chair or from the president. Because, again, when you set your budget, I'm the chair of leadership training. I've got a budget. They told me how much money I can spend. And so I want to make sure that we keep on that. So they're going to want to get approval.
May I add on the last slide?
Sure.
So with nowadays the cell phone and it's easy, so it's always a good idea. Not only the treasurer keep the receipt, a copy of it, the person who actually do it have a copy. So, but the original should go to the treasurer.
Right.
So that way, check and balance everything. When you go to audit, and then the record is always there.
Okay. Money comes in, and regardless of its source, it has to be deposited into the proper bank account. It could be the club account, could be the charity account. Again, money should come in and deposit into the proper account. Payments, if you're, again, someone's gonna hand you cash and then you said, oh, I owe this other guy cash, that's not the proper way to do it. Cash as received should be deposited into the bank, and then if someone needs reimbursement, don't take the cash that you just received from the other guy, write a check or pay them in either through Venmo, but it's gotta be something that can be followed. And receipts for all payments, as Lion Phil just said, should be maintained in a file that can be audited later. Yes, I'm saying.
It's important to receipts of cash. That's always a big issue in the clubs. Oh, welcome.
Sign in.
Have a seat.
Yeah, we'll have her sign in first. Thank you.
It's important to have people double count your money with you. This isn't a matter of trust.
Actually, we're gonna go over that we're gonna be going over that if you don't mind, just wait for a little bit. Yes, we are gonna be going over, that is something that we are gonna cover. Okay, You keep records for 7 years. And then, you know, if you're treasurer 1 year and then you're not treasurer the next year, you pass over the records to the next treasurer. Okay, but generally it's 7 years, bank statements, invoices and receipts, tax returns. And then you want to review club practices with your current treasurer. So again, at least 7 years, if not longer. Does that seem okay, Emil?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, I don't know who this knucklehead is here, Mario Benavente, but he just handed me a check for $240. And he said that $100 goes toward the crab feed, which is a charity account item. $40, he still has money paying towards his dues. And he's also buying $100 for 5 squares in the district, in the dues and convention fundraiser, which again is a club. Emil, what do we do with this?
Deposit it all in the admin account. And then write a check out of the admin account for the amount of the fundraiser.
You understand the problem. The problem is that he paid me, I paid the treasurer $240. Some of it is supposed to go into the charity account, some of it is supposed to go to the club account, but I only wrote 1 check. And so what line Emil is suggesting, is saying, is that you should deposit it into the club account and then write a check from the club account to be deposited into the charity account. Ideally, you never write a check going from charity to club. That's not the way we want to do it. And again,
Right.
we just want to keep that money completely separate. We never want to be showing money going from charity to club. Even worse, and this used to drive me crazy. Does this happen to you, where they come up to you and they give you a wad of cash? Does that ever happen to you? They just give you a wad of cash and they expect you to remember what it's for. And again, this is, come to the meeting with the checkbook if you need to reimburse a member, pay the restaurant, okay? If you're having a meeting in the restaurant, go ahead, Phil.
Oh, it's a very good idea that the treasurer keep a receipt book with you all the time.
Yeah.
So that when you receipt whatever, you will write a receipt.
That's exactly what, the way I do it is to bring envelopes, at least 2 with paper and paper clips, a little Post-it note or something.
Yeah.
So if someone hands you cash, you can write down on the piece of paper, clip it onto that cash, put it in the dues envelope or the fundraiser envelope, whichever one is appropriate, because believe me, as treasurer, and you may have seen this already, people are just handing you stuff, and the same thing will happen with receipts. On my receipt that I just showed you a minute ago, I got my name on it, and I wrote down what it's for, so that, you know, you don't get a thing and you say, oh, who gave me this receipt, and not know who to reimburse. And then later on they say, hey, what about my money? So again, that's just a little handy little tip. Receiving payments, cash, check, also Venmo. Venmo seems to be something that's pretty popular nowadays. We've been doing that more and more these days. A lot of people pay for their dinners through Venmo. Anyone familiar with Venmo? Do you guys use Venmo?
Yeah, but not in the club.
Not in the club, okay. Well, our club does use Venmo. We do have our at San Bruno Lions Venmo account. And when we make the deposit, I'm not sure if I got that. We have 2 separate accounts, and you can, over here, you can click down and we can deposit it either into the charity account or into the club account. We generally wait the 1 to 3 days so that there's no fee. If you want the money immediately, I just can't see a reason for that. You can pay up to $10, but again, Venmo is a way to do it.
Our Venmo account is different. We have a Venmo account that goes directly into a checking or into a bank account. And every month or so, we transfer whatever payments that are made into the Venmo account, like for club dinners or dues as an example, into the administration account. And any payments that were made for the charity account are transferred into the charity account. So we have a separate checking account on ours just for the Venmo. So it depends on how you have it set up with your club. Our bank requires that we have, so we're not charged bank charges, minimum amount in each bank, so we have 2,000 in that account. Your bank may be totally different, but we transfer everything out on every month or every month and a half, so. Otherwise, you get at the end of the year and you got 400 entries in the Venmo account, and then you say, okay, where do I charge these to? It's gonna drive you nuts. The key is be current.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
have a question on Venmo. So you're opening these Venmo accounts on behalf of your club?
Yep.
That's the
Yes.
entity that,
Yep.
do you have your EIN registered there or something, or do they
Yes,
ask you?
Actually,
just like the other two accounts. So we have an account for the charity account or our foundation, and we have an administration account, and we have a Venmo account. So we have 3 different checking accounts.
But this is, okay, I mean, this is at your bank. I mean Venmo
At our
itself.
bank, yes.
Venmo, the entity.
Our
the-
bank accepts we can run the Venmo through the bank account in our bank. So we set up a separate bank account.
You can set up a business profile.
Okay.
You can set up a business profile, and it will ask you for your EIN, yes.
Okay.
So that's all done at the beginning of the year when we transfer the signatures over.
With
Oh.
the same bank?
Same bank.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanna transfer the money over the same day, then you have to pay a little bit. If you are willing to wait 3 days, then you don't pay. Okay, and Venmo makes their money by holding the money for 3 days, I guess just the interest. Okay, Emil, this is where we were talking about the importance of an auditor, and I'll share my story first if that's okay. Is, you know, we had a fundraiser, we had a very aggressive chairman for the fundraiser, it was a crab feed. He expected to raise $10,000 from the fundraiser. And, well, who knows what it was, but anyway, there's an envelope with a lot of money in it, and it had, the guy hands me the envelope and he says, there's $9,000 in there. I take it home. I count it. There's only $8,000 in the envelope. And the treasurer, the guy who, not the treasurer, but the chair of the event, he expected 10,000. It should have been 10,000 at least. And the guy said, no, there was only 9,000, and I took it home. There was only $8,000 in this envelope. Now, I'm not gonna put $1,000 of my own money because he counted 9,000. I went back and I said, there was only 8,000 in there. He goes, oh, I could have sworn it was 9,000. But, you know, the lesson is before you take any money, cash, make sure someone counts it with you, which was what Emil was gonna say. Go ahead, Emil.
It's not a matter of trust. It's a matter of getting a clean cutoff between each transaction. That's why you do that. That's why you do the audit at the end of the year. So as you're transferring your records over to the next one, you have a clean cutoff. So anything that happened up to that date, you have a clean cutoff. You know that was your responsibility. It's all done. And then whatever happens after that date is up to the next treasurer. It's not a matter of trust. It's a matter of you having, you know, everything that went on up to that date. You know when you started and you were given clean records to begin with, so you know you're responsible for everything in between. If there's a problem, you can address it, but at least you have a clean cutoff. So that's what the auditor review at the end of the year is for, so you have a clean cutoff. It's not a matter of trust.
Yeah. No, it's just a good idea. It was fortunate that my club trusted me enough to take my word for it. But again, you know, it was just, I felt terrible at that point. The guy who was the chair, he goes, well, it should have been 10. And the guy who actually counted the money said 9. And when I got it home, it was 8. But again, a big problem could have come up if someone had actually said, oh, well, he must have taken 1,000. And situations like that have come up, you know?
It has come up in the district, and it's caused a split in the club before.
Yeah, so again.
So what happened was they received a bunch of money from a fundraiser. And At that time, their fundraiser was quite large, it was like $18,000. When they deposited the money, it was about $7,000 or $8,000 less, and he says, well, that's all I received. Nobody counted in between. So, there
Count
was a
the
big
cash
argument and the
together.
club
Better
ended
three
up
people.
closing. And it's something that could have been prevented if they would have counted in between. So if someone gives you $8,000, count it first.
Count it first, count
And
it
then-
together. And
So
maybe
you
it's
say,
not a bad
okay.
idea even to have them sign it.
This is only
Initial,
$7,000.
something.
Well, okay, you've counted it right in front of them, you know how much you received, you know how much they gave you, so there's no argument. You have a safe cutoff, so there's no arguments later on. Well, I could have swore that was 9,000, like he mentioned. So, people make mistakes, but that's the time to catch it right away, not later on where, no, I gave them more than that.
That's right. That's right.
You don't wanna place yourself in that position.
You know,
Even comes to a large dinner.
I think Mariah, Vice Governor Mariah, had a form that she was using. I should ask her about that, cause yeah, she's got an actual form where people sign
Yeah.
and date it. But again, I don't have that here right now, but just the point is being made. Please, if you accept cash, if you're accepting payments, make sure that you count it, make sure that the person giving it to you count it, make sure you count it together.
In our club, anytime we have an event, at the end of the event, we have two people count it and sign off on it, on how much cash is there. It's given to the treasurer, then the treasurer counts it and signs off on it. And that's just so there's a clean cutoff. There's no doubt on how much it is, and that's the amount he puts in the bank. So there's no questions later on, well, I thought it was 8,000. No, actually, it was only 7 because
Right.
here, you said you signed off on 7,000 already at 7,000. Okay, I made a mistake. Not a big deal, but that's for you, again, for a clean.
Everyone's
So
protection.
it's not a matter of trust, it's just so things are nice and clean going all the way through.
Okay, let's move on. Again, you're the treasurer and you've got money coming in and everyone's written a checkbook, everyone, you know that you have to record it, whether it's by hand, by Quicken, QuickBooks, Excel. I mean, when I was a college student and writing my own checks, I could never keep it straight and, I always made mathematical errors, so that's why I like Quicken, that's why I like QuickBooks. Some people use Excel. You like Excel, right?
I use Excel.
You use Excel. I know Steve Peaky in Half Moon Bay, he likes Excel. You could keep it in, just a little thing and do it by hand, but again, there's always a chance of making mistakes. So, I mean, I myself have always used QuickBooks or Quicken. Because it keeps track of it and it can keep track of what event or what account it's coming out of. It gives you a number. I've blacked out a lot of things because you guys don't need to know about San Bruno's business, but basically, I mean, it keeps track of it for you so that you can make a nice little report like this, whether monthly, annually, and again, when you make these reports, if you need to know, who paid their dues, you can click on that number and it gives you a list of everyone who made the payment. Because I've seen cases where people ask how much money has been spent on leadership, and they got to go back through the checks and look through the thing and say, well, here's a check, and they write it down, and this will do it instantaneously. Will Excel give you a report like that? Can you get that kind of information out of Excel? Okay, yeah. So as long as you have the ability to do that sort of thing, and again, it will generate reports like this that will tell you how much fines have been paid, collected by the tail twister, how much money came in from the Super Bowl pool, how much money was paid to LCI or 4C4. I mean, this is the kind of report you want to be able to give to your board of directors. Okay? Anything? And again, I don't know why I've got this here, but again, it will give you those kind of reports. Membership invoice, and again, software like this will allow you to go in, oh, right, I think this one back here was, regarding, yeah, these were all names over here, and what they owe in dues. So in keeping track of dues payments, I blocked out all the names over here, and yeah, cause our dues are $400 a year. And again, it will generate a invoice like this that you can then either mail or send out by email. And again, bill to Mario Benavente, my address, our dues are $400, and that's what we send out. And that's the statement that can be, again, emailed out. It seems like I had prepaid $20 or something, but anyway. Again, you're supposed to give a report to the board of directors on a regular basis, ideally monthly. We do monthly, you guys all do monthly? We do monthly, okay. So again, you wanna say how much money you had at the beginning of the period, how much you had at the end. And it would be nice, itemized income and expense since the last report, how you're doing budget versus actual, and to year-to-date profit and loss. And again, that's a lot to do, but again, software will make that pretty easy to do if you continually enter things. Do not let it pile up. Agreed? Yeah. So I would send this out to the board of directors every month. I would send out an email report. It says, please find attached the treasurer's report for the San Bruno Lions Club, one report, the San Bruno Lions Foundation. So you really kind of have to do two reports. As of today's date, the foundation has so much money with pending expenses of up to for different things. And again, I did that for both accounts. Dues and convention has so much. In May, I will be submitting the application for 2 life members, and it says what's coming up. I like to do that. That may be a lot to do, but I enjoy giving a complete report, and so I always included a profit and loss for both the foundation and for the dues and convention account, a profit and loss, and then a register of both accounts. So again, what was actually in the budget, how much we had spent, and then you can add an item that says how much is left. So that way each officer knows how much they have left to spend. A profit and loss would look something like this. And again, the register, I would just show them, the past month or so, just so they can see the money that's coming in and going out. That may be a lot to do. Most treasurers won't go that far, but I like doing it that way. Okay?
We do the same thing. We list everything that goes out and everything that comes in detail.
Right.
And that's just because our board is picky. They wanna know. If we don't provide it, they ask for it anyway, so we end up having to provide it.
Yeah, I would send out a picture of the register, or you can just send out a report that says, here are the last few checks that have been written. Here's where we started, here's the money that came in, here's the money that's going out, and again. But the important thing is just to keep your board of directors and your officers advised as to how you're doing financially.
And actually, if you do it on a monthly basis, there's not really that much coming in or going out each month. If you wait 4 or 5 months,
It
the
piles
long
up.
list ain't gonna go more than 1 page, but if it's just a month, you can put all the receipts and disbursements.
Do not let it pile up. It's just something you have to, just spend an hour or two each week to keep it up to date, because if you let it pile up, then, the board's gonna get frustrated because they're not getting accurate reports, and you're gonna get frustrated because, it becomes very tiresome and hard to catch up.
Memory's like a sieve.
Yeah. You get to the board of directors meeting and someone says, let's make a big donation to such and such a group, and it's not budgeted. It hasn't been budgeted. Someone comes up to the president and says, can you give money to this? It's a real good cause. And then everyone's going, yeah, let's support it. So sometimes you have to be the bad guy, or at least the voice of reason, and say, hey, we do have money, and the board, and the the final decision is up to the board, because the board knows how much money is in the account. But as the treasurer, you should be letting the board know that's kind of going beyond our means, or, you know, or you can say, well, it's not in the budget, but we do have the money to do it if we want, because, you know, we have this money we do have money in the account. Emil, you have anything to say about that?
That's the advantage of having a budget. So you know there's a project coming up next week or next month, and it's gonna cost the club another $4,000. And you got $3,000 in the bank account right now. You can't afford to spend another $4,000 or $2,000 or even $1,000 because you've already made a commitment to the club for that money you have in the bank already. So you have to say, well, we don't really have the money. We have $3,000 in cash in the bank checking account, but we have things that are coming up that are gonna use most of that money, so we can't contribute to this now. What I'd recommend is that if you wanna contribute to this, let's do a fundraiser.
Exactly.
And do a fundraiser.
Exactly. If you got some unexpected expense, and you know it's something that's really important, then you do. For instance, with maybe the year before last, now Vice Governor Mariah came to us as the region chair, and she said we'd like to do an art project for kids with cancer. And so on the spot there, we have these fundraisers called Calcuttas. They're sports Calcuttas. Someone said, well, it's not in our budget. Why don't we do a Calcutta for basketball? So what we did is we had that Calcutta, which is, again, it's a gambling thing. It's a gambling thing. Our guys like to gamble in San Bruno. And so we had a thing, and we took, I think, $1,500 off the top, and that's what we gave to this project. Again,
Yeah.
you got a new project, it was unexpected, let's have a fundraiser for it. Okay? All right, let's moving on. Miscellaneous items, what do I got here? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna let Emil take over for a while here. You're better prepared. The button's right here
Okay.
to move forward. Let's let Emil talk.
When your club was chartered through Lions Clubs International, the requirement from Lions Clubs International is that you're a 501c4. That doesn't change even if you get a foundation. You still have to maintain a 501c4. That's a nonprofit organization, meaning you don't have to pay taxes, but it also means that contributions to your 501c4 are not deductible as a contribution on someone's tax return. So if I make a contribution of $1,000 to a club with a 501c4, that's not tax deductible for me. Non-profit for the organization, but not deductible by me. That's what a 501c4 is. 501c3 says that any contribution I make to a 501c3, I can deduct it on my tax return and ends up I don't have to pay taxes on it. A lot of the clubs have a 501c3. Ours does, San Bruno does, Millbrae does. It may not be worthwhile for you to file a 501c3. There are expenses relating to it. One is the preparation of the annual tax return. The other is a separate book, maintenance of records and books. And so there's a little bit more work, and sometimes there's additional costs because you have to pay for another tax return. But that's about it. Some organizations, especially businesses, will not contribute to a 501c4, but they will to a 501c3. We have the Miss Teen program each year, and because of that, we accept contributions, probably about $20,000 to $30,000 a year, which we would not get if it was not for the 501c3, because they can't deduct it.
Yeah, I will say for San Bruno, the moment we would get contributions from as a 501c3. The moment as a 501c4, The moment we became a 501c3, contributions went up,
Way up.
way up.
Yeah, so it may be advantageous. That's up to your board of directors to determine. But you gotta look at how much is this gonna cost us on an annual basis. Okay?
Yeah, you know which button to press?
Which one do I push?
This one
Right there.
There you go. Let me just, yeah.
Okay. So you have other reports both for the state, another tax return, federal and state. You have filing of club officers or foundation officers, that's another report. So you have several other reports that need to be filed for your foundation. So there is more work, and you have to consider that if your club is gonna do that or not.
Did you go back?
Keep
going. Oh, there you go.
So important dates. July 1st. You have a treasurer, in our club, we have a treasurer, we have first vice president, and we, secretary. We require all three to sign on the bank account. So they have to go in after July 1st, and all three of them change signatures on the bank accounts for all our bank accounts at the same time. Makes it easier. We transfer it as close to July 1st as possible. So any checks written after July 1st are the responsibility of the new treasurer. So they should be writing the checks, they should be signing them. As a current treasurer, you shouldn't sign anything after July 1st. Banks are different. Some are easy to work with and others not quite as easy. I have seen banks that require minutes from the board of directors meeting to show who the new officers are and who has the authority to take and sign checks. Our bank is one of those. They require a letter from the president, signed by the president and secretary, certifying that the signatures in the account have changed and as of what date. So bank won't change them without that letter. So, but it's important to get them changed as soon as possible. 2 signatures on each check. Most banks don't care if you have 1 signature, 2, or 12. As long as 1 signature agrees, they'll cash a check. It's not the issue. The issue is inside your club. So 1 person can't just write a check for whatever. Our club requires 2 signatures, no matter what the bank requires. When you do the year-end review, we go over all the checks that have been cashed by the bank to check to see that there's two signatures on each check. And that's a safety feature for our club. It also has something to do with insurance policy through Lions Clubs International. If your club requires 2 signatures or even 1 signature, if the treasurer walks off with all the money, or there's been a big error, and you try and file a claim for insurance, Lions Clubs International will not reimburse you for any losses on your insurance policy without 2 signatures. So if you have half your checks with 1 signature and half with 2 signatures, you will not get reimbursed. It's important if you run a lot of money through your account.
Question regarding 2 signatures?
Huh?
So do you use like banks, like, what do you call this, like bill pay, like online, like issuance of checks, or, I mean, you said you have Venmo, but that goes through a separate
I
process.
don't recommend it.
Yeah.
So the question is, some banks have, you can just type it in on bank website and they'll automatically pay it, right?
Yeah, it mails a check.
So, and they'll mail the check for you. I do not recommend that because you can't, there's no verification that there's two signatures. That's the problem. I know some clubs do that, I don't recommend it. And it's strictly because of insurance policies and for a double check for your club. That's all. So. November 15th, taxes for the previous year are to be filed on or before November 15th. 4.5 months after the due date of the return. All your returns go from July 1st to June 30th. So your tax returns are due 4.5 months later. Same for federal, same for state.
May I add one thing in there? So in terms of the tax return, if in the very extreme cases you cannot able to get it done on time, you must be file extension beforehand. And I will mail your club a letter say you get extension. So that's very important. Guys, you file with
So
the club.
extensions are important. If you don't file an extension, you may be hit with penalties or fines for a late tax return, even on a nonprofit. So it is important. We file an extension on our club every year, whether tax return is going to be done by November 15th or not. We still file an extension.
Oh, one more thing. We are normal situation, they're ending in June 30. From the rare situation, I have some club in our district, they're not year end in June 30. So the due date is not, so I saw it, there one club, they're new, they're not in the June 30. So therefore,
Okay.
so either change the due date.
If your due date is not June 30th, you need to change it. You need to change it to July 1st to June 30th. That's, so you're the same due date for Lions Clubs International, you're the same due date for MD4, and you're the same due date for 4C for our district. So it's important to keep all those due dates the same. It also makes a difference on your dues. So if your due date is different, your dues aren't gonna match whatever your due date are. So it's important to go by the same due date. So depending on your club, the treasurer may be responsible for filing tax returns. So tax returns aren't really that difficult. Most clubs can file their tax returns on a short card. If you have under $50,000 in gross receipts, you can file just on a simple postcard saying that you have less than 50,000, you can file with the state. It takes about 2 minutes and you can do it over the internet. It's not a problem. If you have less than 200,000, it's a short form. And even then, they ask for a bare minimum of information, and that's easy to do too. So most clubs do not have over $200,000 in gross receipts. Okay, so we have 3 filings: tax return, Internal Revenue Service, Franchise Tax Board, and Department of Justice is due every 2 years. Department of Justice tax form it lists the officers of your club. And that's a requirement in the state of California by the Department of Justice. So that's because you're a registered corporation. Again, if you have a 501c3, it's required for that. If you have a 501c4, it's required for that. $990. Gross receipts under 50,000, $990 easy, that's an easy one. Between 50 and 200,000 in gross receipts, and receipts over 200,000 or assets over $500,000. If your club has assets over $500,000, you should probably have, why would they? Oh, they may have a clubhouse.
Yeah, congratulations if you have assets over $500,000.
Yeah. Either that or got some good recommendations where you can make some contribution. So, but again, we have a professional do our tax returns every year. We didn't always have that, and we got into trouble. And what happens, again, we mentioned earlier, on the P.O. box, we put everything on our tax returns through that P.O. box. So we receive any notices from the IRS or the Franchise Tax Board or the Department of Justice. We received notices that we were not in compliance, and it went to a treasurer or to a president. We used to put the president's name and address on the tax return. Well, it went to a president who was long gone, and he even moved out of the state, so God only knows what happened to the letters, but the club itself did not receive them or even know anything about it. Well, eventually we found out, which took a lot of work to take and get back into compliance. So,
It's always hard to catch up.
yeah. If you have not filed a return, get caught up as soon as you can. It's easy. The requirements for getting caught up are normally to file a tax return for the last 3 years if you have not, and get back into compliance. If you have not gotten back into compliance and they contact you, they may go back to the last time you actually filed a tax return. One club got back into compliance and they had to file 8 years of tax returns. It's a lot easier if you get back into compliance yourself. So, Form 199N is a short form for the state of California, and you can do it electronically. If it's under $50,000, it's easy. 199 is a long form, and that's over $50,000 in income. Normally it's an income issue, and that's gross receipts over $50,000. So, they're due on November 15th. 990, that's a federal return. You pay any fees with the form. Failure to file may result in loss of tax exemption with the Franchise Tax Board. What normally happens if you're not in compliance, they'll take and notify you. And they'll send it to the last address, and the notification will normally come from the Department of Justice that you're no longer in compliance, and we're switching you from a 540, 50C34 into a regular corporation, and you owe $800 plus penalties for all prior tax returns that have not been filed. That's where the fun begins, and then you have to go back and get back into compliance, and then those fees are abated and everything, but it takes a long time to get it back. They're due November 15th.
This is the statement of information.
Secretary of State filing, the SI 100. Filing fee is $20, it's due every 2 years. That's a statement of officers.
Takes about 5 minutes to fill out, really. You're just
Yeah.
updating your officers and paying $20.
That's it. And it depends on when your club was formed. So if you're on an odd year, it's due every 2 years on the odd year.
There are
If it's
two- yeah.
even year, it's due every other year on the even year.
The second state give you an option to provide an email to remind you. So therefore, it's a very good idea to use the club email, so that we send it to you,
Yeah.
remind you, yeah.
Raffles. How many clubs have raffles?
Oh.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
This is a raffle form, the CTNPR1. It's been changed recently to go, it used to be 90 days prior to your raffle, you had to file. And that would go from the date of your raffle to, or from the date, 90 days prior to your raffle to 90 days, 1 year from then, to take and file your return. It's changed. Now they changed it to January 1st through December 31st. We have a large raffle at our teen program, and we raise probably around $10,000 to $20,000 a year on that raffle. So we file a raffle return on January 1st. At the end of the year, we file completion of the form. Depends on who's picking up the forms at the state of California. Sometimes if you have not closed out the prior year, they will not let you take and file for a new raffle permit for the current year. So it's important, as soon as the year is over, you file a completion of your raffle. Subject to the 90% rule, 90% of all your contributions must go back out. So your expenses can't be more than 10% of the raffle. The Form 1 is for starting the raffle, NPR or NRP 2 is for closing the raffle. Very simple. It has what total amount received, your total expenses, and if the money was contributed or not. Now it's raffle, like we had a raffle last year, 2024, in April. We filed it in January for the permit. We got the permit, and we're gonna file in December or January to close it out and file for a new one for next April. That's the form. So the form has, it asks for your state charter registration number, or your EIN. This is your federal employee, yeah, federal employee identification number. That's what you put down, whatever your 501c3 or 501c4 is, whichever one you use. And you check this one down here, civic league, social welfare organization, and local employee organizations. It's a 501c4, that's what you are. Yep, that's the one you use. This is the code you use, the last box of the form. So the form is pretty easy. Just your name, address, and ID number, and the box checked, and sign it. And I don't remember if there's a fee of it or not. Do you remember? I don't. If there is, it's minimal, maybe 20 or 30 bucks. Lions Clubs International, one of the benefits you receive for that $50 per member was they carry insurance on all your programs. So,
yeah, if you wanna rent a place, if you wanna borrow a school, and they wanna know whether you have insurance, and if someone trips and falls.
they require a certificate of insurance. You call it international, they'll provide you with the certificate of insurance automatically. Even if you fill it out online, you can, and get a certificate printed right then and there for $1 million. It's school requires a $2 million certification. So we call International and say, well, the school's requiring $2 million, and they say, okay, and they give you a $2 million certification that you're insured for up to $2 million. So then we provide that to the school, and it's not a problem. That's done automatically, that's part of your dues, so that's, so that certificate of insurance, if it's required, is easy to get. You are insured even without that certificate of insurance. What you're not insured for is alcohol. So any problems occurring due to someone being a little bit over the limit is not covered through your LCI. Vehicles are not covered, so if someone's driving a bus for your teens or for your program and it gets into an accident, you are not covered through LCI. If you call LCI, they'll be able to take and provide insurance coverage for you under special policies for a fee. However, you could probably get it cheaper through your local insurance agent. I know some clubs have a board of directors insurance policy. Yours is one of them. Ours doesn't. Okay.